Donald Trump, in his ever-evolving response to coronavirus, has had a lot of misses. He might have had one of his first hits today, and that is when he announced this, quote, "The Department of Housing and Urban Development is providing immediate relief to renters and homeowners by suspending all foreclosures and evictions until the end of April." And not long after, we got some actual details about how that is going to work in practice. The Federal Housing Finance Agency also ordered Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to suspend foreclosures and evictions for any single-family mortgages they back for at least 60 days. That's according to the agency today. And so, look, we don't know all the details. And I will just caution you that a number of the different things that Trump has announced in the past week or so have not turned out to be quite what he sold them as. The rollout of the Google screening website, turns out that's a long way off. It's not ready to go. The drive-through testing places in Walmart parking lots, turns out that's not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. And he got a lot of good coverage for it. I mean, there's the thing about the Comfort Hospital ship and all of that. So take all of this with a grain of salt. But in dark times, I do want to give him credit if he makes the right move. And recently, we have seen not only a lot of calls for an end to evictions, foreclosures, things like that, but some states and cities starting to do that. Now, to the extent that the numbers that HUD is involved in, if they actually do that, that will be significant because while obviously the health effects of coronavirus are devastating, we also have to worry about the economic effect. Many more people than will get coronavirus will be negatively impacted by the inability to travel, the loss of their jobs, and all of that. And for many of those people, the possibility of going bankrupt, losing their home, that is a significant threat. So hopefully they're serious about this. We have a bit more from the Federal Housing Authority head, Mark Calabria, who said, "As a reminder, borrowers affected by the coronavirus who are having difficulty paying their mortgage should reach out to their mortgage servicers as soon as possible," which is obviously good advice in this case. I would say in general, if there is an area of your life, especially one with a significant financial possible set of consequences, you should get on top of that while you can and make sure that you're communicating with people who manage your money, your house, your insurance, your kids' schools, all of that. You're not going to want to be sort of caught unawares by what's going on. So that's true. Now, aside from this one change, which seems like a positive one, Republican senators are apparently close to reaching an agreement on the details of the $1 trillion stimulus plan, according to two GOP sources that talked to CNN. A package that one Treasury memo suggests could include a combined $500 billion in checks to Americans to address the economic impact of the coronavirus. So I know we've been getting a lot of comments asking us to update all of you on those particular bills that are being bandied about. And one of the reasons it's difficult to do that is because there are multiple bills, they change quite frequently, and we don't know which have any chance of actually being passed. So this is different than the House bill that we have talked about. In this case, those numbers are different that we've talked about in the past. So something like $1 trillion, I have heard that number thrown around, not necessarily with half of it going to regular Americans in the form of checks. And so that's another area where I would say huge grain of salt. I'd previously heard that something like $850 billion will be going in bailouts to a number of different industries, and expect that list of industries to probably continue to grow as time goes on. We knew that some of it would be going to actual workers in the form of some sort of individual stimulus. I don't know for sure exactly what the breakdown is going to be, but we have been tracking that a lot of people on both sides of the aisle have now been talking about some form of at least limited UBI, and so that is probably going to be hopefully a big portion of this. It looked like it was going to be like 15% of the bill before, maybe it's up to 50%. But the thing is, a lot of it is going to come down to who's actually in charge of the amount. I mean, you had like Kamala Harris talking about $500, and then you have plans all the way up to $6,000 a month. I don't know where Trump is going to come out on that. Maybe it'll be 1,000. And we know that a lot of Republican senators aren't a fan of doing literally anything right now. They've been digging their heels in. And even Mitch McConnell, he was saying that they should just sort of like, gag it down and pass something. That doesn't give me a lot of faith necessarily, but at least Republicans are considering doing something. I would say do it as quickly as possible, both to reassure regular people, many of whom are stuck at home like you and me, and they're wondering what's going to happen. It will also have the secondary effect probably of providing a little bit of reassurance to, the stock market, which is continuing to plummet even today. We hit that circuit breaker yet again. And yeah, as someone's pointing out, the airlines are almost certainly going to be bailed out, but probably, casinos, restaurants, a number of different industries that are going to be like really horribly impacted by the fact that people can't gather, and that might stretch for some time. More details on that in the future.